Hello aspirants and welcome again to Legacy IS Academy. In this lecture, we will be discussing about Pakistan's closeness with US, with China and with Turkey. Why? Probably aimed to, not probably, of course, definitely aimed to counter India, but specifically aimed to counter India in the Indian Ocean. Now understand that India is a blue navy basically. That means we have good presence in international waters as well, whereas Pakistan's navy is not that big, does not have that status as such. So what Pakistan is doing, since alone they can't do much against India, so they are collaborating with countries like USA, China and Turkey. Not just that, using these countries to propagate their own ideologies, their establishments around the Indian Ocean to counter India's dominance in the Indian Ocean region. This is exactly what is happening. So in this video, we will be detailing out certain things that has happened which projects exactly this. So what is the news? The news is about the deepening of the strategic ties of Pakistan with China, Turkey and the United States of America. So it is doing that in order to counter India and strengthen its role in the Indian Ocean region, because of which there is an emerging triangular partnership that is there, which basically reflects Pakistan's motive to counter India. So let us see what all Turkey, China and USA is doing in sync with Pakistan to counter India in general and in the Indian Ocean in particular. Now before we move ahead, an important announcement of the new batches that will start having a maximum of only 40 students. The regular batches are starting from 15th December. The weekend batch is specially made for the working professionals starting from 6th of December. The advantages once you enroll with us are many. Some of them we have listed over here, like the comprehensive coverage of the GS papers, one-on-one mentorship, probably the most important thing. Then you have the doubt solving sessions, regular intervals with interactions with the mentors, with the teachers that you just saw. There will be daily mains answer writing practice. There will be prelims as well as, of course, mains test series. We follow an approach which is a 360-degree approach for current affairs, in which we cover the entire week's current affairs through live class every single week. So if you want to enroll with us, you can simply download the app, log on to our website or call on these numbers. Now let's continue with the news. So let's understand Turkey's rising role in Maldives. Now Turkey is having an increasing role being played in the Maldives. So because of that, so here this is the Maldives over here. Turkey is having more role to play in the Maldives over here. And now Pakistan is coming closer to Turkey in order to have their own say in this Indian Ocean region. Now Maldivian president's Victory Day celebration, it basically highlighted Turkey military's hardware is what they highlighted. Plus what has happened is India had gifted ship Huravi. Ship Huravi was gifted by India to Maldives. Now Maldives have replaced that ship by the Turkey donated vessel named as Dharumavantha. Right. So what gift India gave, now Maldives have replaced that gift by the gift that has been given by Turkey. So showing a strategic shift of inclination. Now launch of Maldivian air wing has taken place. That means Maldives has launched its own air wing, and this air wing is launched with the help of Turkish drones. Right. Then the Gan air station has been reopened. So this is a symbolic of growing Turkish Maldivian cooperation. So this is an air station which has been opened, which will create further cooperation between the two. So all this basically reflects Maldives' pivot from India towards Turkey and China. That means Maldives, instead of inclining more towards India, is shifting its inclination towards Turkey as well as China. Now, if you look at more in detail, so what Pakistan is trying to do, we understood what Turkey is trying to do, but Pakistan is attempting to play US, China and Turkey simultaneously against India in order to gain a strategic advantage. So what with respect to China? With respect to China, the Gwadar port and the CPEC. So Gwadar port is a port being developed by China, and then CPEC, you have the comprehensive economic partnership, the CPEC. Right, so comprehensive partnership for economic cooperation is what CPEC is. Now it passes through the Pakistan occupied Kashmir, which is a sovereign and integral part of India. Hence it is a partnership completely which stands against what India is. Right, that is why India did not participate in it, because it directly tries to question the sovereignty of the region, which has been occupied by Pakistan. Then if you look at Turkey, military collaboration and the planned SEZ, that is special economic zones, have been planned between Turkey and Pakistan, along with military collaboration is also taking place. With respect to US, interest in Pakistan's rare minerals. So USA has interest in Pakistan's rare minerals and the resources that are there in Balochistan. So USA is interested in that from Pakistan. So Pakistan can use this as a leverage to counter India using USA as well. Then you have the dual use Chinese investment. So Chinese projects in Gwadar, in Hambantota, Colombo, that is Sri Lanka, for example. Now, these projects that are there, they are blurring the line between economic cooperation and military cooperation. Now, why is that the case? Because what China does is, China basically enters a particular region. Let's say, for example, Sri Lanka or Sri Lankan port. China says, come, I will give you some money for your port development, but I will give you at an exorbitant rate. If you are not able to pay back, then China captures that land. That is one thing. Second, China develops infrastructure for other countries, and to protect those infrastructures, sends its own army to protect those infrastructure. So you will have Chinese army in that region, and that region is India's neighbor. So you will literally have Chinese army in India's neighborhood, which is again a strategic ploy by China and Pakistan. Turkey is further being more assertive about its expansion. Turkey's engagement is going beyond just the defense sales. Now they are also talking about development projects in Pakistan, in Maldives. So it is not just selling things to each other, but also cooperating and creating projects with each other, with Pakistan as well as Maldives. Now, Turkish firms are replacing Chinese ones in the major projects. So what Pakistan is doing, a lot of projects, not just Pakistan, even in Maldives. So these countries, Maldives, Pakistan, are trying to please China, are trying to please Turkey in order to gain as much benefit as possible. They will even pit Turkey and China against each other, and that is exactly what is happening. A lot of project is going to Turkey as well. So Turkey is also coming in limelight with respect to relationship with Pakistan. Now, what is the US connection? The US retains Diego Garcia as a strategic base. So we have Diego Garcia, which is over here, right? So it is again in the Indian Ocean region, and USA basically has retained its strategic base over here. So it becomes quite important. Now, Pakistan's mineral wealth, as we saw, which is there in Balochistan, rare earth mineral is also there, is attracting US's attention. It is attracting US's attention. See, wherever US finds some worthful resources, US goes. If they find crude oil, they go. Now, many places they go through military, but here they are probably coming in through a friendship that Pakistan is showing to USA. Right, but this raises the question of Pakistan as a geopolitical pawn. That means just a small piece in the big geopolitical maze. So Pakistan might be thinking that using these countries it can deter India or it can counter India, but Pakistan itself might just be used as a pawn in this geopolitical drama. Now, what are the implications for India? The growing Turkey-Pakistan-China triangle or nexus poses challenge in front of India, because the traditional dominance of India in the Indian Ocean region is going to be challenged over here. Now, Pakistan is using strategic geography to mediate between competing powers. Strategic geography. So USA is over here. You have China over here. Then you have Pakistan somewhere over here. right? Now these countries are surrounded by what? By the Indian Ocean region. So Pakistan is being very let's say strategic with respect to its growing partnership. So what should India do? India should strengthen its Indian Ocean diplomacy. These are not the only countries. There are Southeast Asian countries as well. There is Australia, there is Japan, and of course with USA also we have relation to at least some extent. But of course you can't trust USA, but other countries are also there. So India should focus a lot on Indian Ocean diplomacy, should focus a lot on Quad. Quad is a group consisting of Japan, India, USA and Australia. So focus should be there in order to gain more momentum, more if not friends, at least more mutual cooperation and benefit with this countries, so that the impact of Pakistan's nexus with Turkey, China and USA does not impact India a lot, and rather we become even more powerful in the Indian Ocean region. Thank you.